Hello, welcome back to the channel. I've got a slightly different video planned today. Now, anyone that's been following my channel for a while, you'll know that, or probably remember that I've got two wildlife lenses that I regularly use, or one that I use a lot and one not so much. So I've got a 180 to 600mm Z lens, and I use that with my Z8. And I also had a 600mm f4 prime lens, which was the old F mount, and I used to use that with an adapter. Now the thing is, that F mount lens, although it was fantastically sharp and it's an f4 lens, absolutely brilliant, it's so heavy. It weighed over 12 pounds, and I was finding that I was more often than not grabbing the 180 to 600 because it was a lot easier to use. So fact of the matter is, I've sold that lens, it's gone. And the reason, I've been thinking about selling it and getting something different for a while, but the thing that pushed me is I've got a very good friend and he was selling an 800mm F6.3 S line Nikon lens. So it's a Z mount, and the fact of the matter is it's so much lighter that this is it. I can literally do that. There's no way I could have done that with my 600 prime. So this is, I'm trying it out today, and if I like it, I'm going to buy it. So it's a case of trying it out with as many subjects as I can. I don't need to get anything spectacular, but that's the plan. I'm going to go out there and put lots of practice in and decide whether I'm going to buy this lens. So it's going to be like a mini review, and if I do buy it, I'll do a much longer review later on. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on this 800mm S line lens. I started off at this area, this little location, and there wasn't a lot about, to be honest, so I went over to what's called the Old Causeway. I'm at a local nature reserve called Abberton Reservoir. It's a big reservoir, there's lots of little areas to photograph, and there's a couple of causeways or roads that cut across the reservoir. And at the old reservoir, it was great. There was a really nice heron, got some great shots of the heron, which I've either put on before this piece of camera or put on in a minute. And there was also a white egret, a great egret. And I have to say, this lens has performed really well. The autofocus is really snappy, it snaps in really quickly, and the image quality looks great. Now, I need to get the pictures home and put them on a big screen, but looking on the back of the screen and zooming in, it looks really, really sharp, so that's great. And it's light enough to handhold. I've done a few pictures of birds in flight, nothing particularly great at the moment, but good practice. It's hand-holdable. I will use it on a tripod as well, but I think this is really good. And then apart from the weight, which is great, it's got a couple of a function button here you can set up, so you can use that to access part of the menu, your camera menu. So it can be exposure compensation, for example, or it could be maybe changing from one eye to the other. There's lots of different things, options you can set on that button. And then it's got a memory set. So that's quite handy, actually. So for example, if you were photographing a bird in flight, but then you maybe have a kingfisher perch over there, and the kingfisher suddenly landed, if you've got the memory, the focus set for that post, as you swing round, you can hit the button and it'll focus on that post, so it can speed things up. And then we've got a focus limiter. We can either shoot at full focus range or go from 10 meters to infinity, which I don't use that often, but it can speed the autofocus up a little bit. But to be honest, on full autofocus, it's really, really quick. So far, so good. Light enough to handhold, very manoeuvrable. Autofocus snaps in really quickly, and it's unbelievably sharp. The main difference between this lens and my old lens, apart from the weight, this is much lighter and also less bulky, a little bit smaller, is the fact that this is a maximum aperture F6.3 lens, which basically means that's F6.3 is as wide as the aperture will open. Now my old lens was an F4 lens, and the lower the F number, the wider the aperture in that lens. So that means if I shoot wide open at F4 on the old lens, I'll have a certain aperture and shutter speed and a certain ISO. And if I set the same shutter speed on this lens, and had the aperture wide open at f6.3, the ISO would be higher because this lens is going to let in less light. So that's the one downside. This is a smaller maximum aperture lens. But I don't think that's a problem for two reasons really. Firstly, modern cameras are way better shooting at high ISOs. You get much less digital noise at high ISOs than you used to. And this is a full frame mirrorless camera, so it's good for noise control. And then the second reason I think I'm not too worried about this situation is there's so many great noise reduction software packages out there. You've got Lightroom has got its own noise reduction, there's Topaz, and then there's DxO. And this brings me nicely on to DxO. Now, anyone that's been watching my channel for a while, you know that I don't generally review or tie up with anyone or any products that I haven't bought myself. But I've been wanting to try out DxO for ages, particularly their noise control at high ISOs, because it's meant to be brilliant. And I got approached by DxO 3 or 4 weeks ago, asking me if I wanted to sort of partner with them. And to be honest, it's the first time I've absolutely wanted to partner up with any commercial company when it comes to photography. And I've been trying out the DxO software for over a month, and I think it's superb. The noise reduction software is great, and I've had access to all of their software. So that's the Photo Lab, the Nik Collection, the Film Pack, the DxO Raw. And they're all really good software packages. So I think the thing I like about them is that it's a non-subscription basis. So once you've bought it, you own that software. And as I say, the Photo Lab 9 is a competitor to Lightroom. It does similar things. And then you've got the Raw pack, which is just for really noise reduction. Nik software, great, particularly for black and white conversions. And then there's one that I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but it's used to straighten up vertical lines on buildings and geometry and stuff like that, which I guess is not as interesting for anyone that's doing wildlife photography. So if you are interested, if anyone hasn't already got their software or they're thinking of trying out DxO, particularly for noise reduction, but also for raw file conversions, I have a discount code. If you use my discount code, you'll get 15% off. I'll put a link in the description below. But you just have to go to the checkout. When you're about to buy the software, just put in Steve H15 and you get a 15% discount on any software that you buy. And that's Steve with a capital S and then H, capital H, 15. So if you want to try out buy any of the DxO products, Steve H 15, and you get a 15% discount. So that's it. So by the looks of things, this is probably going to be my next wildlife photography lens. It's absolutely superb, and I'm going to go out and take some more pictures now. There's not a lot here, so I may well go back to the causeway and see if anything else crops up. So I'll speak to you in a little while. I'll come back down to the causeway. The light's a little bit softer, but that's nice. And I've already photographed a cormorant, and now I've got a grey egret, and it's further away, and that's really good because the ones I photographed this morning, they were really close, so the pictures look so sharp. So this is really nice because I've got more distance here, so I can check the sharpness. Now it's a really nice, basically winter's day, so there's no real worry about heat haze. So I'm cutting through quite a lot of atmosphere here, but we shouldn't get any heat haze, so it gives me a really good chance to check the sharpness at longer distances. So this white egret, great white egret, is much further away than the one this morning, and it gives me a good comparison. And I've also got a couple of Egyptian geese in flight, and I'll put those pictures up because, again, handheld in-flight shots. I could not have done that with the 600. Now, the only other thing I wanted to mention is this is an f6.3 lens. my old lens was an F4 lens, and the lower the F number, the less depth of field you've got. So potentially I can get a slightly softer background, or I could have done with the F4 lens. But the fact of the matter is, this is 800mm, not 600. And the longer the focal length, the less depth of field you get. So one almost cancels out the other. So I'm not worried about the extra high, slightly higher ISO, and I'm not worried about the fact that I've got less depth of field because this is an F6.3 lens, because it's a longer focal length, so that reduces my depth of field in any case. So yeah, all good so far. I've still got the egret there. I'm going to take a few more pictures, and it's nice because it's a really dark background, and I've underexposed the picture. In fact, I haven't underexposed it, but I've reduced the exposure compensation to give me a full detail in the white bird, because it's very easy to overexpose the white bird, and that makes the background go dark, and it looks really good because it's a really dark background. So I'm going to crack on now and take a few more pictures. So I've already mentioned that in my bag I've got a 180 to 600 zoom lens, and then now it looks like I'm going to have this 800mm prime. And you might be asking, why two lenses, or would having just a prime be better, or is a zoom better? And the answer is, there's no right or wrong. There's times when I've missed shots because I've been using a prime, and times when I might not have got quite such a good shot because I'm using a zoom. But the fact of the matter is, if something comes really close and I'm on my 800mm, I can't zoom out. The only thing I could do is move backwards, and that's not really feasible. So I will miss some shots by using such a long focal length. Whereas if I've got the 180 to 600, particularly if I'm in a hide and I'm in a fixed position, that gives me the ability to zoom in and out. So that's a good thing. But if I want ultimate quality, then the prime's going to be the one. So the fact that I can fit both in my camera bag now, this prime and the 180 to 600, means I've got both options, and I think that's the best way to go. If you have to choose one or the other, totally personal choice. Do you want to go for the absolute quality and have less flexibility, or do you want the flexibility of the zoom and maybe slightly less quality? And that is a personal choice, isn't it? If you look at a picture of this lapwing, it's a fair distance away, and you can see it's quite small in the frame. But what I've done is I've cropped in tight and then tighter still. So there's another two pictures coming up. So it's the same frame, but I've cropped tight. And I just wanted to show you how sharp and the resolving power of this lens, how good it is, because it's the results are fantastic. So on the second picture I've cropped in tighter, and as you can see, the lapwing is still looking really sharp. And if we get to this third picture, I've cropped in really tight. So this is a very small part of the frame, and the lapwing is still retaining pretty good sharpness and resolution, actually. So the resolution and the sharpness that this lens can capture is amazing. So I'm very, very pleased with the results. Certainly on a first practice with this lens, the results have been stunning, to be honest. Well, I'm going to call it a wrap now. The light's pretty much gone. It gets dark early in the UK this time of year, but what a fantastic day. Nothing better than trying out new kit. And the 800mm F6.3 S-line Nikon lens, absolutely fantastic. It's sharp, it's hand holdable, it's got great autofocus speed. There's just nothing not to like about it, as far as I can see. So it looks like I'm going to be transferring some money into my friend's bank account. But what a cracking day. Tried out a lovely piece of kit, got some nice pictures, it's all good. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you have enjoyed it, if you can give it a thumbs up, a like, that would be brilliant. Always helps my channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, if you can consider subscribing, that would be great. And if you've got any comments to put in about new kit that you've bought, just let me know in the comments section below. It's always good to hear what you're doing. So bye for now, and I'll see you on the next video.